Chica, we'll just wait for people because some guys just called me as well saying they're coming from work.
Now today you are a full Apple guy.
Yeah, man. Full Apple.
Airports,
I got the
watch.
pencil as well.
Oh wow.
Some design work. Preferably, Barisab, I got a speech today at 6:30.
Ah.
I'm talking on justice.
You were there as well in this Amir Saab meeting. I saw you there on Zoom.
Oh my, yeah, that was really long.
Yeah, exactly. I was there for like 2.5 hours, 2 hours, 15 minutes. You
Yeah.
joined late.
Yeah, I think what was that the one about Talim Tarbiyat and
Yes, 100%.
that's it, yeah. And it's good. I enjoyed it, man. MashaAllah, the building's looking very nice. Best too.
Okay, so
Guys, you know the summary?
yeah, I was just transferring my summary from one phone to another so I can read it.
So try to, I think if you do Filbadis, it's the best thing.
Filbadi, because nowadays Kashif is making these all summary for me. I haven't get any chance to I it, but I couldn't be able to like write it from myself. If I will write, then it will be easy for me.
Yeah. Like I don't in the future, try to, even when you're listening, just try to think of a few points.
Yeah, I know it belong.
You know, and you're good at speeches, and you know the best kind of speech is Filbadi. You know?
Yeah, but
it has the most effect.
It's really long as well.
It
did maximum 5 minutes. Okay. No one is here. Wow.
We're delayed today, man.
Oh.
How's our good friend Ibrahim?
Yusuf.
Yusuf Ibrahim Saab.
He's Alhamdulillah, he's fine.
Did you get to talk to him after?
Sorry?
Did you get to talk to him after last week?
Yes.
Ashtar is a very nice guy.
Yeah.
Which I just wanted to make a point. I actually had a good report with Imam Saab, Imam Rashid Saab, and I told him about our Khuddam night and that we're inviting external guests. And he said his mashallah is very good, so he's very happy.
He is very happy from what?
From our Khuddam nights and inviting external guests. I told him about our guests that have come on so far. Yeah. But he did say one point, he said, make sure that these events with external guests, that it doesn't dominate, it doesn't take over the Ta'aleem and Tarbiyat side for the Khuddam. So we should also have our other things running as well. And I told him we are still...
we have the segments.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
why we split our program into so many pieces.
Yeah, exactly. So alhamdulillah, I said that's exactly what we're doing. So he was very happy. So I just wanted to update you and update everyone on that as well.
Perfect.
So alhamdulillah, the prayers are with us.
This is what source of motivation for us.
Yeah,
that our management is keep motivating us.
So we're on the right track, alhamdulillah. Just have to keep going, keep pushing. Even if we can't do Khuddam talks every week, I think even once or twice a month is more than enough.
This Khuddam night in twice a month?
No, Khuddam talks.
Okay.
I know.
It's up to you.
Because sometimes there's like this week it's hard to find people all the time.
Oh yes. Yeah, you're right.
But definitely Khuddam night should continue, no matter even if it's just mail up.
But before this COVID, you are conducting Khuddam night every weekend?
Yeah, every Friday. Every Friday evening. Maybe we'll have to change the time a bit because of people working and stuff.
Yeah, maybe you can do it like 8 to 9.
Yeah, depending on namaz. So we look at namaz time. These days, Maghrib is quite late. So obviously our goal is to make everyone stay until namaz time. So we'll make it around 1.5 or 2 hours.
So when your mosque is going?
Allah knows.
No,
I think
there's some
4th of July.
Yeah, 4th of July, there's some Lajna program as well for 40 Lajna.
Where?
At Dar Barkha.
They're probably doing the iftitah. MashaAllah, MashaAllah. Everything should be ready.
I was thinking that I'm going to be late. But thank God.
Why sab, you're never late, yaar.
I was going to message you that I will be late. So I asked Hamza to do first his program.
Just before Khuddam, everyone calls me and messages me saying that I'll be 5-10 minutes late. So I just have to keep talking until they come.
My radio show is going very, very well.
Tell me about this. What is it? How's it going?
Our next guest is, Ubaidul Alim Saab?
Yes.
Our Shair.
Yeah.
Poet. His son is coming in our next show. You know him, I think. Maghzan-e-Tasawir, the pictures department, Umair Alim.
Yeah, my good friend.
Yes, Umair 11 team as well.
Yes.
Yes, I invited him. He's from Karachi as well, from my area. I came to know last week. I talked him with like many hours and hours. We are talking with each other because we are from same area, Karachi and everything. So,
he's the biggest joker, yeah. So funny.
Really?
Such a funny man. Yeah, he's such a funny man. I think because I know him personally, so like he makes so many jokes and very, very nice person.
And tomorrow, Mirza Mahmood Sahab and Nadeem Malik Sahab. These two guys play county level cricket. These are the only players from UK who played county. Like a one level, you can say that the next level will be a national team. So they reach to the county level. So yeah, Mirza Mahmood Sahab and Nadeem Malik Sahab are coming tomorrow, and day after tomorrow, Umair Bhai will be there.
That's great. MashaAllah, MashaAllah.
Assalamu alaikum, Nasir.
Assalamu alaikum. For being late, I was with the mechanic doing my window switches weren't working, so yeah. How's everyone?
Fine, alhamdulillah.
Why is only 5 people on here?
5 pillars of Islam. That's all you need.
And where is the 6th
build an organization?
6th pillar of faith?
Yeah.
5 pillars of Islam.
This fan can count as one as well.
The fan pillars. Today, no, I'm putting my fan on, yeah? But it's just blowing hot air. What's
the same. Yeah, I don't know. I'd say
outside is hot, inside is hot.
I'll
the humidity is so high.
I don't know. Put cold water on yourself and then you'll feel it.
Where is Hamza?
Yeah. Hamza's coming. He said 2 minutes.
Yeah,
and Zaid Bhai?
Zaid Bhai has just come home. So he'll be with us shortly, inshallah. You know in Thorpe Park how they have the fan, but they have water as well with it?
I see. Kashif is asking for a link because usually Zaid Saab shared the link in our group. I just checked the message. Kashif message is there, so Kashif is joining now. Kashif will join and Saqib will join.
Where's Kashif? I need to talk to him, yaar.
Yeah, he's coming now.
Because I think, isn't the application for Jamia
Yes.
Happened? What happening?
He's just coming now. He's joining.
Inshallah, Nas is going to give us a nice talk today. What was the topic again?
It's to do with the solar and lunar eclipse, the signs of the appointed time.
That's good, man. I'll try and make it, but if I can't, I'm definitely going to listen to it on the repeat. Because a few of us are here now, or three of us, I just wanted to play quickly a video from Rational Religions, and it's about everything that's happening in the world today. So quickly, let me just go.
Am I making too much noise? Should I turn it off or mute myself?
No, I can't hear it at all.
Okay, that's all right.
Okay, wait. I'm just going to play this while we wait for people.
I can't hear anything.
Oh, wait. 1 second. Are you ready, guys?
Yes.
Hate the shape of your nose and the shape of your lips. Who taught you to hate yourself from the top of your head to the soles of your feet?
Brought up in the United States, Malcolm X had seen and suffered from the systemic racism against African Americans all his life, with his own father having likely been lynched by white supremacists. Soon he, Malcolm X, became a prominent leader of the black separatist movement. He believed that white people could never be allies of black people in their struggle for justice. For this reason, he described Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream speech as the farce on Washington, writing in his autobiography that who ever heard of angry revolutionists all harmonizing, we shall overcome, while tripping and swaying along arm in arm with the very people they were supposed to be angrily revolting against? Yet when Malcolm X went to Hajj, the Muslim pilgrimage, his perspective on the white races changed profoundly. In his now famous letter from Mecca, he wrote, "During the past 11 days here in the Muslim world, I have eaten from the same plate, drunk from the same glass, and slept on the same rug, while praying to the same God, with fellow Muslims whose eyes were the bluest of blue, whose hair was the blondest of blonde, and whose skin was the whitest of white. And in the words and in the deeds of the white Muslims, I felt the same sincerity that I felt among the black African Muslims of Nigeria, Sudan, and Ghana. We were truly all the same, brothers, because their belief in one God had removed the white from their minds, the white from their behavior, and the white from their attitude." Here he used the word white to mean the racist attitudes he had fought against in so many white people of his day. He went on to write, "I could see from this that perhaps if white Americans could accept the oneness of God, then perhaps too they could accept in reality the oneness of man and cease to measure and hinder and harm others in terms of their differences in color. What is it about the Islamic belief in the unity of God that Malcolm X felt would corrode Western racism? Well, he had experienced an alternative all his life. In Christianity, God is split into three persons, the idea known as the Trinity. As part of this, we are told that God chose to incarnate himself into human form as Jesus. It was this concept that allowed the idea of God to become a vehicle for the racism of man. Those white Europeans who already thought that they were superior, who found it politically expedient to demonize dark-skinned peoples, suddenly found a way of making their racism religious. God, they said, was a white man.
I just wanted to start with that. It's a really, really interesting video by Rational Religion. If you haven't seen it, make sure you do. Make sure you follow them as well on Instagram and YouTube, etc. Because the stuff they show, they do, and you can just see from the amount of followers they have and the views that they have from the videos, that it's really amazing stuff. And it's Rational Religion, meaning it's for people who understand, people who comprehend, people who really are trying to find the truth and understand the truth. So just with that, I just want to start with that, and that's going to help me with my speech as well today, later on. But Bariz, I just want to go to you quickly, and if you can quickly just give us a quick summary of today's Friday sermon, on the companions of the Holy Prophet.
Okay. Assalamu alaikum. Today, Huzur continued from the previous Friday sermon narrated about the life of Hazrat Abdul Rahman bin Auf. He stated, Hazrat Abdul Rahman was well known for his generosity and sacrifices in the way of Allah. He made a will that every person who was the part of the battle of Badr should be given 400 dinar from his wealth. So, thus after his death, 100 people were awarded this amount. At the occasion of Battle of Tabuk, the Holy Prophet ﷺ urged people to sacrifice in the way of God. Hazrat Abu Bakr brought his entire belongings, which was worth 4,000 dinar. Hazrat Umar brought half of his belongings. At this occasion, Hazrat Abdul Rahman also gave 4,000 dinar, and about Hazrat Abdul Rahman and Hazrat Usman, the Holy Prophet said that these two are among the treasure of Allah who spend generously in His way. The Holy Prophet once said, only truthful people will take care of my family members after my passing away. Thus, Hazrat Abdul Rahman used to take care of Ummahatul Mu'mineen, mother of the believers, and used to provide for them, spend his wealth for them, and arrange for their Hajj. Once Hazrat Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha prayed for him that may Allah satiate him from fountains of paradise. The next companion whom I will narrate about is Hazrat Sa'd bin Muaz radiallahu ta'ala anhu. He was one of the chief of the Aus tribe of Medina. He accepted Islam through Hazrat Musab bin Umar, who had been sent to Medina before migration of the Holy Prophet to teach people about Islam. After accepting Islam, Hazrat Sa'd radiallahu ta'ala anhu brought Hazrat Musab bin Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu to his own house, from where message of Islam was delivered. So this is, and the last one which Khalifatul Masih Khamis did mention, the Battle of Badr. The Battle of Badr had been decided upon the Holy Prophet ﷺ sought advice from his companions. At this time, Muhajirin Meccan Muslims gave powerful speeches reaffirming their loyalty and dedication to do everything for the sake of Islam. They said to the Holy Prophet ﷺ that we will not say what was you and your God fight while we are sitting here. We will fight on your right and on your left. The Holy Prophet ﷺ was pleased with this, but still waited the response of Ansar, the Muslims of Medina. Hazrat Sa'd radiallahu ta'ala anhu recognized this and spoke for the Muslims of Medina. He said that by Allah, now that we have recognized your truthfulness and believe in you, we will follow you wherever you go. Even if you order us throw ourselves into the ocean, we will do so. You will find us resilient and brave in the face of war. The Holy Prophet ﷺ became extremely pleased to hear this and said to move forward in the name of Allah. So Hazur Anwar said this will be continued narrating about Hazrat Sa'd radiallahu anhu. So what I taken out from this address is, first is a financial sacrifice, that how they are doing the financial sacrifice, that Hazrat Abu Bakr brought all of his belongings from his house. And second thing is the battle, the jihad fi sabilillah, jihad in the way of Allah. So these two things that nowadays Khalifatul Masih Khamis Disease emphasizing on different Sahaba's life stories in a way that we can get some lessons from them. So from this we can get two lessons, like financial sacrifice and jihad in the way of Allah.
Guys, you know who the first Murabbi was of Islam? Mubarak gave a little hint there.
First
Yeah. First missionary of Islam.
of Islam.
Yeah.
It was Hazur.
No. Someone has to deliver the message somewhere after the Holy Prophet ﷺ gave it.
Hazrat Abu Bakr then? No.
Hazrat Musab bin Umar.
Musab bin Umar.
And you mentioned it as well, that he traveled to Medina to go and teach people and to go and educate them. And this was the seed that was planted in Medina for Islam to be able to move, to be able to migrate there. And that's why we always talk about Hijri, about the Holy Prophet going to Medina, because it was so huge. So from his life, just from Musab bin Umar's life, you learned so much. And the way he passed away, we all know as well. He was a flag bearer of Islam. He was the one that in every war would come and he would carry the flag high, and these flags were really heavy. And so people used to target him because they used to try and get the flag down. You know how we, in paintballing and stuff, they do capture the flag. So with him, they would try to go to him and try to get the flag down to show that, you know, the enemy has fallen. But he was so resilient, even with, you know, his arm would get cut off, he would hold it with the other arm and hold it high and keep it flying. So from their lives, you know, you can learn so much, and just from the examples and the way they were. We should always look at their lives, analyze them, and try to instill these characteristics, which Huzur has always been saying. And we try to reiterate that on this show as well with Mubarak Jazakallah. Thank you for that summary. It was really good. Hamza, are you ready for your presentation?
Ji Murabbi Sahab. Ji Murabbi Sahab. 1 second. Oi, plug my charger in. Oi. Yeah, I'm ready. 1 sec.
Guys, next week, I think next Friday is the 5th. Next Friday is the 3rd. 3rd of July. So I think we'll try, inshallah, if we can, within the rules, we'll try and meet up for the next Khuddam night. next Khuddam night.
Murabbi Sahab, you've disabled host sharing.
I don't want to enable you, bro.
It's still disabled because...
One second. Hello. Do you guys know how to do it?
Isn't there's a right click option by the share button, and it should just allow you to do it with multiple participants.
Oh yeah. Go for it. Can you do it now?
Oh boy, yeah. Oh boy, yeah.
In his own words, by Hamza.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. 1 second, boys.
Before we start, Jazakallah everyone for joining again. Hisham and Zaid as well. Jazakallah for coming on. Zaid, are you there to talk?
No, unfortunately, just to be honest, we're just helping out with the family as well at the same time, man. So
yeah.
I haven't got anything prepared, to be honest, this time.
Tika. I just called Zaid because he said he was busy. He said he can't come, but I told him just to come on and say salam to everyone. And if he can stay, he can. But he's also busy with his loved ones. So Zaid, Jazakallah. We just love having you on the show. We love even just seeing your name. So you're part of the show. You're part of the building blocks.
Of course, man.
That makes a difference. Jazakallah. Tika, Hamza, go for it, man.
Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So the book we're looking at today is based on a debate that took place in 1902 between two prominent Maulwis of the time, Hazrat Hussain Buttalwi Sahib and Abdullah, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, Jakhrahalov Sahib. And this debate, it was about the importance and the position of the Holy Quran and Hadith as sources of evidence in Islam. The book, it gives like a summary of this debate and a comprehensive analysis of the 2 points of view by the Promised Messiah Islam. And he also introduces the importance of the Sunnah, or the actions of the Holy Prophet ﷺ, in the book as well. So then again, it begins with 2 different points of view. So he starts with Maulwi Abdullah Sahib, who was of the opinion that the hadith of the Holy Prophet ﷺ, they should be discarded entirely, and they should never be looked upon as a reliable point of reference for the teachings of Islam. And then Muhammad Hussain Sahib suggested that the hadith cannot be considered worthless or unreliable, as the Quran doesn't give specific instructions on certain issues, for example, how to do for certain namazes, so Fajr etc. So due to this objection, Abdullah Sahib was forced to invent a new form of salat, an innovation that's totally against the teachings of Islam. And in his version of salat, Darood was absent, and so was At-Tahiyat and a few other customary prayers of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He then emphasized that both points of view were incorrect and had verged on opposite extremes, essentially. Then delving further into the perspective, again, of the Prophet ﷺ, Islam, he breaks down the arguments of Muhammad Hussein, and that due to his unmindfulness, he has in some ways placed the hadith on a level as lofty as, or more lofty than the Holy Quran, giving precedence to the narrations of the hadith in some instances over the Holy Quran. And then he references Surah Al-Jathiyah, and Allah says, what words will they believe in after rejecting the words of Allah and his signs? And in this verse, the word hadith is used in Arabic as one of the words, and in its most generic way, I guess, and in meaning any type of tradition or discourse which contradicts the Quran, it ought to be rejected. And the verse also has a prophecy in it that the future ummah, as in the latter days now, some would neglect the Holy Quran in favor of conflicting hadiths. He then comes down to the perspective of Abdullah Sahib, saying that rejecting hadith completely is also against Quranic verses, and the love of God from Surah Al-Imran is linked to that as well. If you love Allah, follow me, Allah will love you. And when follow me, implying the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And then again, so the love of God is linked with following the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the hadiths are also linked to this practical example. So those who reject hadiths, they're rejecting a modality of following the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And suggesting that all hadiths are tainted is completely false. And this has come about due to scholars of the latter days now, some of them again who give precedence to hadiths over the Quran. This has been really off-putting for a lot of people, and it's essentially led people to the opposite extreme, to totally disregard the hadiths when this shouldn't really be the case. And then he goes into more detail regarding the hadiths, explaining that they were compiled around 100 to 150 years after the lifetime of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and that because of this, they're not completely free from human error, and that majority of the narrations, they're not free from doubt and conjecture, but only a few narrations remain that are considered to be highly authentic and reliable. And thus, because of this conjecture, as referenced from Surah Yunus, chapter 10, verse 37, mere conjecture is incomparable with absolute certainty. Again, the point being that hadith can't be considered as a judge over the Holy Quran. And he explains that something that has conjecture in it, as in the hadith, they can't be compared to a book like the Holy Quran with absolute certainty. He then gives three main teachings of Islam in order of their reliability. The first, of course, being the Holy Quran. Again, there's no doubt in it, and it is the word of God. And then the second being the Sunnah, or the actions of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. As actions, as with all prophets, are in accordance with the Holy Book or the law that they bring, and therefore their actions and their example goes hand in hand with the revelation given to them by God. And then again, when Allah communicates to his prophets to guide mankind, the Prophet illustrates this guidance through their content and through their practical example. Again, one of the examples is used when the Holy Prophet ﷺ demonstrates to us in practice the number of regards for each namaz and how to perform Hajj and all of these pillars of faith. And then the third source of guidance is the hadiths, which were again compiled 150 years after the Holy Prophet ﷺ's lifetime. And again, majority of the compilers, despite there being a bit of a time lag from the time of the Holy Prophet ﷺ, majority of the compilers, the companions, were righteous and God-fearing people. This generation was that compiled the hadiths was just after the immediate companions of the Holy Prophet ﷺ. And again, they rejected those hadiths which they felt were inauthentic, and they didn't accept hadiths from those narrators who were considered to be of questionable character, so to say. Though there is still some speculation regarding them, it would be very unfair to suggest that all hadiths are inauthentic and useless. But then again, we should also bear in mind that even without the hadiths, the fundamental teachings of Islam had already been established by the Holy Quran and the Sunnah. And again, the Prophet Islam then emphasized that his Jamaat must follow any hadith that does not contradict the Quran and the Sunnah. And then, just in case of lack of clarity, he, from all three sources of guidance, the Prophet Islam said we should go to the Hanafi school of jurisprudence, which contains the majority of the agreed and consensual teachings amongst Muslims. and that even if there's no clarity in that case, then the scholars of the community at the time, they ought to decide with their reasoning, with their God-given reasoning, what the decision should be on whatever topic they're discussing. And then again, he reminded the Jamaat to reject any sort of innovation in the teachings of Islam. And then he links that idea of following the middle path and not verging to the extreme of either side with, again, the concept of the seal of the prophets, and that the Holy Quran is the final law, again, until the Day of Judgment, and that no prophet can bring a new law, but the daughter revelation received through obedience to the Holy Prophet ﷺ, again, a recurring theme throughout all of his books is that this daughter revelation is open until the Day of Judgment. And again, a verse that we've looked at already quite a lot, Surah Al-Ahzab, chapter 33, the Holy Prophet ﷺ is not the father of any of your men, but he is the messenger of Allah and the seal of the prophets. And in the Arabic, the word lakin is applied as a compensating particle for what was expressed in the previous statement. So that means as the seal of the prophets is a compensation for the Holy Prophet ﷺ not being the father of any of your men. He then summarizes the verse again, reminding us all that independent prophethood cannot be attained, but prophethood from the light of the Holy Prophet ﷺ is still attainable. And that if this prophethood is denied to the followers of his ummah, then the verse is wrong, the verse is incorrect, as the Holy Prophet ﷺ would remain without any male issue in both the physical sense and the spiritual sense. And then God forbid those who mocked the Holy Prophet ﷺ when they were insulting him in Surah Al-Qasr, saying he has no male offspring, no male progeny, they would be proved correct if there was no prophet after the Holy Prophet ﷺ. And then again, he explains that even despite all of these signs, he isn't disappointed by those who reject him. In the same manner that this fulfills a prophecy in Surah Al-Fatiha right at the end, where he talks about those who have not incurred thy displeasure and those who have not gone astray. Implying in that verse that the Muslims in the last days would begin to come into the same state as the Jews. Just as they rejected Isa alayhi salam 1400 years after Moses alayhi salam, in the same manner they rejected the promise of Isa alayhi salam 1400 years after the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And then he again prays that may Allah have mercy on them for their misguidance. And then he finished the book with some remarks on Hazrat Isa alayhi salam, and that it doesn't make sense to bring someone down from heaven when it's stated in both Quran and Hadith that the excellence of prophethood can be achieved by following the Holy Prophet again, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He used a good analogy as well about, say, there's a person who claims to have the power to create gold, but he casts a spell upon a piece of gold that's already present to reappear, claiming, and then that piece of gold reappears and he claims it as his own, when in actual fact that gold already existed. In the same way, the prophethood of Hazrat Isa alayhi salam already existed. And again, in Hadith, it says that this Hazrat Isa is to come in the latter days is going to be a follower of the Holy Prophet ﷺ. And then he relates that again to the Hadith that he will be an Imam from among you, from among the Muslim Ummah. And then his prophethood, it has to be created as a reflection. Again, we talked about the concepts of zeal, as a reflection of the Holy Prophet ﷺ. But the Isa of old, again, he keeps re-emphasizing, is his prophethood is independent of that of the Holy Prophet ﷺ, and therefore he can't be subservient to him and he cannot be his follower. And then looking at it from a different perspective, he emphasizes that to raise Jesus ﷺ bodily to heaven, this does him a great disservice, as it doesn't remove the allegations that he was accursed, and to say that the Holy Quran doesn't mention his death anywhere. This essentially backs up the Christians that there's a case for his divinity, as if he is godlike and that he's beyond the laws of nature. I also think he was able to guide the lost tribes of Israel, and to see him in heaven with his mission unfulfilled, if you think about it, it would leave a great disappointment in his heart, and he would desire to return back to earth to complete his mission. So they've essentially suspended him in the sky physically as a failure, so to speak. And those are the key points of a very short book. I think 18 pages maybe. It's a very, and yeah, those are the main points. Jazakallah.
I can't pause.
Jazakallah. Can I quickly just ask you if you can just share some tips about how you prepare for Hazrat Masih Maud's books, and just give us a small insight about how you understand it and then how you make a presentation from it.
So the first thing I do is just read it as you normally would read it. Then when I'm making the presentation the second time, it's like anything. When you read the first time, you miss things out. Then when you read it the second time, you take in the finer details and the finer points, and then just go slide by slide, going through all the information. A lot of the things he does, Prophet Islam, he repeats points again for emphasis. So it's about from like 3-4 pages, you can garner some of the main points within 1 or 2 of those pages, because it's repetition, re-emphasizing points so that people remember when they read his books. And then just from that, make the presentation, and then just make notes on certain things where you want to delve into a bit deeper. And that's the main part of it. I thought I was just rocked up now as well.
Oh,
not yet.
busy
guy.
Thank you. What time of day works best for you then to read His Muslim's books? Because some people say sleep, some people during the day. What works in your routine?
I think for me, in the daytime, any time of the day, but it depends again, like it's different for exams and stuff, but it depends what kind of learner you are. If you learn more effectively in the mornings or in the afternoons, or if you're a night owl. But for me, I can do it in the daytime. And because obviously we've got a timeline locked down, I can just do it in the afternoon time. The daytime is fine.
Awesome, man. Jazakallah. I think it benefits a lot of people, because some people are just very hesitant on even just starting reading His Muslim books. Just thought of it, they think, I might not be able to understand what he says, or it's too much for me, it's too much philosophy for me. But when you actually get into it, you realize it's very logical and it's very understandable. It's just a matter of just starting. So, hopefully with your presentations and with everyone's help and prayers, more people can get into it. But it's a good way to learn, and it's a good way to get through all the books. Inshallah, just keep up your hard work. It's benefiting a lot of people, not just the guys listening now, but inshallah in the future as well.
Inshallah.
You can just go to the philosopher Nasir Rahan.
Yes, nice.
I just wanted to read.
Before you leave, do you want to do your messages? Those two, the 2 pictures.
Yeah. I'm just going to do that now. I just wanted to show you guys. Not this guy. Not this guy. Not this guy. 1 second. Yeah, man. Just wanted to show this. I think it's really important to listen to, because directly addressing the youth as well. So Azul says, at a time when non-Muslims are openly expressing their fears that Islam will prevail, both here and further afield, I would remind our Ahmadi youth, and directly talking to Ahmadi youth, meaning Khuddam, and in fact all Ahmadis, that they must seek to guide the people of these nations towards the true Islam. This should be your foremost goal and ambition, and it can only be achieved through prayers and heartfelt efforts. It is your duty to inform the world that the Holy Quran has given the world a timeless and complete teaching for all of mankind. So I'll just do that one for now, and we'll just talk about that for now, because what the Huzur has said, and he always mentions this to us when we're in Jamia. He always says, whatever the issue is, always look through the Holy Quran first. So I think that links beautifully with Hamza, what you said about the book, about the Holy Quran being the first source of guidance, along with what Nasir you're going to say as well. So any issue that confronts you, always try to look through the Holy Quran and try to link everything through the Holy Quran first to prove your point. And proving points nowadays is the most essential thing, because someone can make up any point, but if there's no proof and no backup to it, then it's very empty. So always do that first, and then it's our duty to, in whatever capacity you can, whether it's through social media, like Nasir does, or whether it's with your friends who are messaging you, contacting you, be friends with them, but also make your beliefs clear, because sometimes you go through many years and they don't know exactly what you believe, and everyone can relate to that. So make sure it's like I said, Huzur said, our foremost duty should be that, just teaching other people our beliefs. So I just wanted to share that with you. Nas, I'll go to you now, because I'm gonna have to go soon, guys.
No worries. Okay. I just want to say that obviously I've done this really, really quick. So apologies if you see any mistakes. Let me know if there are mistakes so I can sort it out afterwards. Let me see. Share screen. Can you guys see the screen?
Yes.
You can see it.
Yeah.
Jude.
Yeah. See, I'm still waiting for you to make this, man. Come on. Someone's
Come
gonna
on.
a good one. Okay, so this week's statement is: how can your Messiah be true if the signs of his coming aren't fulfilled? Part 1: solar and lunar eclipse. I was just gonna do this as one whole thing, but then I realized how big, these signs are and how many they are, and so I just thought I'd split it into parts. Right. So there's hadith here. I'll read it out. For our Mahdi, there are 2 signs which have never appeared before since the creation of the heavens and the earth. Namely, the moon will be eclipsed on the first night of Ramadan, i.e., on the first of the nights on which a lunar eclipse can occur, and the sun will be eclipsed on the middle of the day of Ramadan, i.e., on the middle one of the days on which a solar eclipse can occur. And these signs have not appeared since God created the heavens and the earth. So now on Dar-Qutni, volume 1, page 188. Now this is other supporting hadiths. I'll read them out really quickly. He will be both Mehdi of the time and Jesus. I see him blessed with both attributes. So this proves, again, this shows that it's one person, not 2 different people. And the next one is, I see both the moon and the sun obscured. And the final one, it has been related that during the month of Ramadan of that year, there'd be an eclipse of the moon and on the 13th, and the eclipse of the sun on the 27th. And yeah, so these hadiths are vastly used by lots of, I think, Sunni and Shia sects, so they can't refute this either. So how is this fulfilled? If the Hijra calendars use the dates on which a lunar eclipse can occur are the 13th, 14th, and 15th, and the dates on which a solar eclipse can occur are the 27th, 28th, and 29th. According to the prophecy, the lunar eclipse would occur in the first night, and the solar eclipse will occur in the middle day of Ramadan. Naturally, this fixes the 13th of the Ramadan for the lunar eclipse and the 28th of Ramadan for the solar eclipse. Allah Almighty manifested his heavenly sign in the year 1311 Hijri 1894, when the lunar and solar eclipse occurred over Qadian on the specified dates of Ramadan in fulfillment of the grand prophecy of the Holy Prophet.
Yes.
The lunar eclipse occurred after the sunset on the 13th of Ramadan, 21st of March 1894, and the solar eclipse occurred on Friday the 28th of Ramadan, which is 6th of April 1984. There is mention of this in many official sources, such as the Indian newspaper and many others as well, I think within the UK and America. Okay, so these are from NASA. I think I've got the link somewhere there as well. This is a world map that shows the solar eclipse paths during that period. And this is the catalogue of the solar eclipses. And there what I've highlighted is the exact date, 6th of April. And then this is the lunar eclipse on the 21st of March. And this is the catalogue that also proves that same date. So consensus with the holy books. The hadiths mentioned above are further strengthened by the fact that the Holy Quran mentioned eclipses as an important sign. So in the Holy Quran, Surah Qiyamah, chapter 75, verses 7 to 10, he asks, when will be the day of resurrection, when the eyes is dazzled and the moon is eclipsed and the sun and the moon are brought together. And also in the New Testament, Jesus, narrating the signs of his second coming, said, immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened and the moon shall not give her light. Matthew 24:29. And Mahtamas Surdajisi has mentioned the prophecy that Kalki Adar would appear, the moon and the sun would be eclipsed. He wrote, both the moon and the sun will be eclipsed and there will be much violence and death. And in the holy book of the Sikhs, Sri Guru Granth Sahib, it is written when Maharaj will come as a Nahgalang. The sun and the moon will be his helpers. So the Prophet said, are you not? So this is for all the non-Ahmadis who just refute this and they just throw this hadith away again. So he said to them, are you not afraid to deny the hadith of the Messenger of Allah, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him? Even though its truth has come as manifested as bright as the sun, can you present a sign like this in any age in the past? Do you read in any book that some person claimed to be from Almighty God, that in his time in Ramadan, the lunar and solar eclipses occurred, as you have now seen? If you are aware, then relate it, and you will get 1,000 rupees as a reward if you can show. So prove it and take this reward, and I make Almighty God a witness on the promise, and you also be a witness, and God is the best of all witnesses. And if you cannot prove, and you will never be able to prove, then guard against the fire which is prepared for those who create disorder. And finally, as I'm sure everyone knows this hadith, Al-Mahdi, the vicegerent of Allah, will appear. Even if you have to go crawling over mountains of ice, you should go to him and convey my salams to the Mahdi and swear allegiance to him, because that Mahdi would be vicegerent of God. And I think that will be my final hadith for all of these parts that I'm going to do, just to show the importance of accepting him. Jazakallah.
Nas, have you ever come across this on social media? Anyone alligating on this?
Personally, no, but I've known about it for a while. I've never actually looked into the proper, the reasoning and everything, but no one's person said this to me, and I haven't seen it used as a widely, no one's ever refuted it. It's because no one really mentions it. No one sees this as a sign.
Yeah. The reason is it's very difficult to refute, and it's impossible to refute because it actually did happen. And it's, as you already put the references, that people all around the world saw it happening.
Yeah, and I don't know where it is, but there's something that I read saying that the dates of the Hijri, there can be a possibility of like a 1 day mistake or something, which can basically further proves that instead of the 27th, it could have been the 28th, which was in accordance with us as well. Yeah, but I don't know, obviously if any of it, non-MD saw this, I don't see how they can say no to it.
Yeah,
it's never been used as an argument against us. Yes.
What, did you want to say something about this?
Yeah, it's a scientific thing. No one discuss about this. When we discuss with Gharam Abab, they never discuss this thing, because there are some allegations on that as well, that it was not on that night, it was not on that day. So when we go into the depth, so they deny the fact that it happened. It is mentioned in the hadith, everything is fine, but it is not happened actually at the same time, same date, when it was Ramadan, 14th of Ramadan night. So it's not actually at that time.
Yeah. And the other important thing is, do you have the hadith about the thing, Nas?
Which of these?
The hadith about the sun and moon eclipse.
Did I have it on there already, or?
Because it's very important to look at the Arabic of that, because in Arabic there's different names for the different shapes of the moon. So you have hilal, which is literally a new moon, and the word qamar. So qamar is when you become a full moon. So that as well you need to look at, and it's according to that which the dates are set. So that's another really important thing for people to understand, which is it felt exactly as the Hazrat Masih Maud that it would happen.
In that hadith, it's not here. Obviously I didn't write it in, but I don't know if it's shown in these ones, because I did include the Arabic here.
It's Persian.
It's frozen.
It's Persian.
Persian. But the last one is Saraiki or Punjabi. Tervi Chand Satvi Suraj Hosi Sale Ahi Ramzan Likhya Ye Ek Ayat Wale.
Hi.
Yeah.
MashaAllah.
Yeah, I didn't get the right one then, yeah. But,
That's great. Jazakallah, man. Appreciate that. It's such a deep topic. I thought when you said you're going to do on this, it'll probably take a whole show to actually cover the whole thing. But you did as best as you can. Maybe you can look even more into it. Maybe next week. Jazakallah, Nas. Really appreciate that. Just quickly to show this as well. It's always good to get updates from Khuddam al-Ahmadiyya Central. I was going to get Nas to show this actually, but I'll quickly do it. It's on because we're coming to the end of the Chanda month, and just to push it, Khuddam al-Ahmadiyya want to push everyone to try donate more. And as you can see from the bottom here, £40 could feed a family for 1 month in the Middle East. And I think the reason they're saying this is because of the Yemen crisis, which is going on now, which didn't have any coverage before, but now I think now it's getting more coverage. So your money can help in any sort of way, and whatever you guys want to give. So try to join this, and you'll learn a few things as well, Islamic teachings. So that as well is also good. Nas, did Zaryab send you some stuff?
no, he hasn't sent me anything.
Okay.
Oh, was he supposed to?
Can you? I've sent you a link.
Oh wait! He sent me something here.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. He sent me, I think, his username and password.
Yeah.
Okay.
So can you just quickly do that while we talk?
Yeah. Go for it.
Zaryab, as usual, he does supposed to be doing Kahoot night. I remember Mbariz Mashara, you suggested this in the first online Khuddam night. And ever since then, we've tried to have it as often as we could. And it's a really good way just to learn something new. I think, what was that one about? Was it octopus or slug? Or slug doesn't have a nose or something. Some really interesting facts which you learn, which you might not learn throughout the week. So it's always good to do those as well and take part in those. On top of that, also guys, I'm doing these online classes. I don't know if you guys must know. I'm putting them on Instagram as well, putting them on YouTube as well. So learning Arabic and learning different sayings of the Holy Prophet and Hazrat Masih Maud. Alhamdulillah, the feedback has been pretty good. People have been getting back to me saying they want more, but it's quite difficult. So I'm just trying to keep myself busy as well, trying to just do online dars before the mosques open, and maybe continue after as well, because it seems like a lot of people are benefiting, especially people who can't come to the mosque during the week, or even can't come to the mosque at all, or people who live in different parts of the world. You know, we can still stay connected in any way that we can. So try and join that as well.
All right, I've got it up. Let me just share my screen.
Yeah, guys, can you just join quickly?
Let me quickly join as well. I haven't seen the question, so you know.
Yeah, you join as well. Dr. Hasham, man, I remember that day you did your talk. The power was with you. Can you say the pin out loud, Nas?
Yeah, 2396508. Five players on so far. 6. 1 meter distance. Is that? Oh my God.
Let's go. I think that's everyone, right?
Yeah, there's let me see online. Yeah, is that? Yeah, should start then, yeah? Any objection to start?
8 to humble. Let's go.
Oh, 7. Okay, there we go. Okay, 3, 2, 1. I'll start now.
In memory of Zuriel. Can you give some online commentary as well?
Yeah, I can hear that. Where are the average shortest people in height in the world? Oh, yeah.
I think it's no way.
Oh my gosh.
That was Bangladesh.
Save up for that as well. All right, let's see.
Oh, Dr. Hash working in the hospital has its benefits.
How many countries have a royal family?
Yeah, counties.
Oh, is it counties?
Yeah.
No, it's not. It's got to be countries. What was the answer there? Oh, 14.
Yeah.
1 meter distance is coming up.
1 meter away. Go on, bro.
What is the translation of Sami Allah al-Muhammadah? Oh, no. Okay. There we go.
MashaAllah.
One person, that's right, let's Huzur.
Talim levels are good. Dr. Hash.
Whose K lives matter? Which one means glory to my Lord the Most High?
It can be confusing, guys.
Yes. Oh, everyone got that one right. I thought there was 7 plays when we started, but okay. Oh, 1 meter distance is coming. He's on the streak. What children did Hazrat Mirza Tahir Ahmed have? Daughters only, if I got that wrong.
I think their name's Faiza, Toba, and can't remember that one.
Apes are monkeys, true or false? This might be obviously right. Oh, okay, that's all right. I was getting scared then. Okay. Oh, that's me coming up. How many children has a Muslim would have that lived to adulthood? Whoa.
Thank you very much, Brother Toby, for that beautiful and quite inspiring short message.
Guys, I think I have to go, man. I shall catch you guys in a bit. Keep me in your prayers. I have a speech to do right now.
Inshallah, it goes well, bro.
Jazakallah. Okay, Sanko.
Okay, no one got that one right. When is lockdown over? What?
No. Oi.
What? I don't know what to put out.
Oh, thank God, I thought it's never.
Oh, yes, Nas coming up. Gorillas can talk in sign language.
Surely they can.
Guys, I'm back.
I was corrupting the whole place then when you left.
There's someone else has a speech.
Show is coming in a second. Nas is still.
Did I miss one question? Damn it.
Yeah, you did. Who was the first Khalifa to visit Africa?
Who was the first Khalifa?
Yes. I got that one right.
Is that true though?
Must be, I don't know, I got it right.
Because Khalifa Awal went to do Hajj, but that was before Khilafat.
What is the second biggest cause of global warming after human activity?
Surely it's cows.
Yes.
Push.
Why did you only put 3 there? Okay, it's a bit lazy, isn't it?
You got lazy, man.
Yeah, he got tired there.
That's why you first, man.
The other seed, isn't it?
Because that new plate number you got.
Which Khalifa led the move of the Markaz from from Qadian, India to Rabwa, Pakistan? Oh, I was there clicking it on my screen and I realized what I was doing.
Yeah.
Who was the Christian Scottish minister that the Prophet Islam challenged to a praying contest? Hamza, you should know this one. We're just talking about it.
I reckon George Henderson.
Yes.
Henderson boy, put your money.
Of America.
Okay, I got that one right. Everyone got that right. Oh.
Oh, it was Henderson, man.
Which of these books is not directly written to publish by the Prophet?
I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I think.
The Imam.
Malfuzat, yes.
Oh yeah, I'm second. Come in. Okay, it's two battle between the Nasses.
Oh, Dr. Nas.
First row players are awarded more than other players. So, what is the position called between two prostrations? All right. Coming after you, Nas. What should you do if it's prayer time and food is ready? Obviously, you should pray. Obviously, you should eat. Yeah. I always use that excuse. No, I'm joking.
Predictable though.
Yeah.
I thought it was if you're hungry, Gaffer.
Yeah.
It is undesirable to read surahs in any order, whether in first or second regard, despite their order in the Quran.
True, innit?
Oh, I got it wrong. Okay. I didn't know it's undesirable. Who won the Premier League?
Liverpool Zindabad.
Yeah, announce it live on you anyways.
Who finally won the Premier League? Should be that.
Yeah. How many zeros in a Google? What is that? Google after one?
What?
What does that even mean? Oh, is it when?
Okay. Oh, I meant to click on. Oh no, my Google.
I don't understand why.
I said Google, my Google Assistant came up, so I was like, screw me over. Okay. Oh no, I was supposed to do that. Okay, never mind. The most common metal on Earth.
Iron.
Surely.
Silver, iron.
Z's on.
Aluminum.
Man.
Nice.
When was humanity first founded? Oh. I thought 2001. Oh, no.
Dr. House, right.
Last question. It's so hot. True or false?
Not right now.
Oh, Dr. Hasham is good. Pay lives matter.
That's me, man. That's a Hamza, the humble Hamza has fallen down to fifth. It happens. You never know with Zariyab's questions. What are you doing? That's
like difficult questions. It actually gives you like a.
You know that metal one? Is it actually true? Is it aluminium?
I don't have a. We didn't make these
That's
ones.
what I got on Google.
I swear it was iron.
It doesn't matter. You won. Oh, you get first.
Is it one question? Yeah.
This one is Sean is on you, Z.
I've just had a puncture, man. The puncture should have happened a bit earlier, so I could have joined.
Excuse
Here you go. Anything else, guys?
Nothing. Probably done fairly quicker than usual.
Mosque's opening soon. So, inshallah, get back to normal. Make sure you bring your masks to the mosque.
Yeah.
If you come to the mosque.
Martha, when are you coming back?
This week, inshallah. Also. Nando's open now.
Is it?
Is it?
Hamza, do you want to link up?
Come where?
Do you want to link up now?
What do you think?
I said GDK.
Right now? Go next week, man. We'll go next week.
Come on, I'll pick you up right now.
After blood donation? After blood donation?
No, man. I don't want to eat after that. I want to go home and sleep.
After blood donation?
Yeah.
Nah, you need to eat after that, man.
I've never had one. I'm scared, you know.
It'll
be my first time.
Did you go on Tuesday?
No, because this guy keeps on changing his date. I've changed it 3 times now. Yeah, and I've done it so me, Hamza, we're going together, but then he's changing it again.
I booked mine for that day.
Actually, bro, I don't need to change it. I forgot I don't need to change it. Tuesday's calm.
Are you sure? Was it a Tuesday?
Yeah, my mate's gonna come next week.
That's right.
Tuesday's calm.
You go, guys. Gotta go, man. Jazakallah.
Jazakallah.
Dish, I'll show you my number plate.
This guy.
I got you know.
4D and that was.
You want to see it?
Yes, Gugu.
Okay, I'll show you. Yes, that's. Okay.
Unless you muted. I think you said something.
Wow. Is it the wrong way around? Is it showing like opposite?
Oh. Number plate on that? That's it? Oh, yeah.
Yes, Nas.
Yes, lad.
MashaAllah.
Wow. Listen, you see the number plate, not a car at all, bro. This is waste, man.
That's it now. Everyone's going normal. What's going on with him? Come on, let's go, man. Hamza.
Me
Oh,
or
Alhamdulillah, how are you?
How's Ammi?
Ammi's okay. She's resting, I think, upstairs. She's okay. Yeah, she's got a phone now and she started using WhatsApp. So yeah, so she's asking for your number as well. Yeah. WhatsApp calling you now.
All right, Gaffer Chal. Assalamualaikum, boys.
Hamza, come on, let's meet up. I'm coming to get you.
Right now?
Yeah.
I got a few things I need to do, man.
No, I'm selling my car.
Yeah, how much?
I don't know, you know. I've only just decided yesterday. I'm gonna have a look. Probably 6-7 or something.
Yeah. You wanna swap? Buy my car for me?
I don't know what to get, you know. I'm looking at yours. What do you recommend?
Yeah, well, obviously mine's not the legit one, but I would say defo, because speak to Taha, man. He'll sort you out with something good, man.
What's the mileage on it?
Yeah.
Is it?
86,651. Yeah, 86.
Auto?
Yeah. No. I don't know what I want, man. I want something cheaper to run, though. No, no.
Get electric. Get a Tesla.
Yeah.
Get a
Oh, no. So, boys, let's take care, man. I'm sorry I joined so late.
Nah, that's fine. Listen, ask Khuddam. Khuddam might be selling his car, you know. He's got a 330.
I wanted something cheaper to run. 330 doesn't sound cheaper to run.
What litre engine is your car?
2 litre, 220D.
Oh, it's a 2 Series?
Yeah, 3 Series.
Oh, okay. But it's not saloon, is it?
No.
Convertible.
Probably,
How's the one first?
Bro, it is amazing still, man. It's still...
You prefer it over Apple?
Definitely. Honestly, my picture qualities are crazy. All my friends who have like iPhones, they go crazy over it.
Oh man, iPhone Pro.
Nah, even the Pro Max, yeah. Like my mates have them, and they'll take pictures like side by side with mine. Mine came out way better. Like it's not just that, and the pictures is not too much of a big thing for me. Like it's not. Like
the notifications are much better.
Yeah, that's definitely one thing. Like, but the thing is, it can be bad as well because I get loads every single day.
You can turn them off. You can customize them.
Yeah. It's just like the speed, man. Like, you know, the
refresh rate.
Yeah, super quick, man. But that's gonna be with new phones, I guess. Now, even iPhone's gonna probably end up doing it now.
Yeah, they all catch up.
Yeah, but it's good, man, for the price that I got it as well. And apparently, OnePlus have stopped their connection thing with the McLaren.
Okay.
So no more McLaren editions that are going to be coming out, so mine will be the last one.
Yours will be a go up in price.
Yeah, maybe, hopefully. Need to message Abid. Abid's not on here. Abid told me to message him once everyone's finished. So.
All right, nice one, boys.
Safe, man. Take care, bro.
Safe,
boys.